Let's see if this will work. Fingers crossed. Alright. Hi everyone, long time no see. Maybe I'll take off my glasses because they're typically very reflective, so I think I'll just take them off so you guys can see me clearly. So hello, it's been a while. Yeah, so I see Miran is here today. So hi Miran, thank you for RSVPing on Discord. It has been so long. I've missed you. And yeah, I've been seeing your comments there too. Oh yeah, sorry for the echo. I'm also streaming this on YouTube right now, so hopefully if people follow me on Instagram, I posted the link and time for my stream today, so doing my best to make it a habit to post like the link and updates of like what time I'll be streaming and if I'll be streaming. It's really hard to do this ahead of time at times just because it's overwhelming with school and stuff, but I will talk more about that on Greetings. I see that my editor Hans is also commenting on my YouTube, so thank you so much. He said everything's good. So yeah, I think this is the first time I'm actually not using like another device in terms of seeing if the stream is doing well. I do have my phone running, but I don't know if I can trust it fully, so Hans is really the person I'm going to be depending on regarding like any issues with audio and video, because I want to make sure that this video will be saved and uploaded on YouTube, so just so it's there for you guys. And of course in the near future when it's possible, I'd like to edit my videos and make it into small snippets, and you guys can watch that in case, like, let's say you just want to watch videos that are just very short, maybe 5 minutes, less than 10 minutes long. And yeah, it's a lot of work since it's just me and Hans editing them, and life happens a lot, so it's not easy to get things out going consistently. So I apologize, you've probably noticed that there's gaps in between upload times, so doing our best. But yeah, hopefully things will come out and resume next week. Not sure yet though, but there will be an attempt from my end at least, and also from Hans too. But yeah, let's go ahead and say hello. I see Miran is in the call. So Miran, it's good to see you. She said that it's been a while, can't wait to join your stream again. Yeah, since the last time I've seen Miran was probably during like session number 4, but that video got deleted, and that's when my trust issues with YouTube happened. So yeah, I'm hoping today this will definitely be recorded. I'm keeping my eyes peeled on YouTube as well, and checking on Hans's comments below from my phone. So fingers crossed things will go well. And yeah, I'm looking forward to today's stream. This will be focusing on mental health today. I feel like it's important to have this conversation because in the last 3 weeks, things have been happening on my end, and I think it's important to discuss this with everyone. So first things first, welcome everyone to session 9. Everything is so smooth now, I'm so happy. Goodness. So the stream itinerary, we have a greeting. So I did a little bit of that conversation with you guys prior to opening this presentation. Our main topic for today's stream will be focusing on stress management. And then if we have time, I always like to have a backup activity. That's what BA stands for here. It's just backup activity. And of course, question, comments, concerns, or suggestions, or QCCS, which I like to keep short and sweet. All right, so the first thing, as usual, greetings. So it's been a hell of a week for me, guys. It's been a good 3 weeks since I've been here, I think, since the last time I streamed. I think the first time I canceled was because I was feeling a little bit under the weather and I needed to focus on other things. And then the following week I canceled because it was my best friend's wedding. So I was her maid of honor and I had a lot of things to prepare, and I was also helping the bride with bouquet, setting up stuff, last minute stuff. So it was just a very overwhelming week, which is why I didn't stream the last week of September. And then this week, or actually last week, sorry, I'm not doing my math correctly. So 2 weeks ago, that was the wedding. And then last week I canceled because I was, I just started working in person in LA. So my job has been very emotionally and mentally exhausting on my part. So that entire week, every time I came home, I knocked out very, very quickly. I'm working with children now, so I'm working as a tutor. That's the most I can share with you guys. So yeah, coming home, I'm usually drained of energy, and I don't really have the energy to have a stream. This week, it's a bearable. So I'm 1 week into my job, and it has been good for me, testing me and learning like how to handle behavioral issues, how to manage students, because I know they really want to be there, but they just have problems with knowing what to do to focus on what they're learning in class that day. So I would say like it's been a very good experience for me because I'm, keeping keeping an open mindset, and of course in the future maybe I might even teach children in the future. I'm not sure yet. So this has been very good in terms of expanding my field of expertise. And yeah, so now that I'm back this week, that means my energy levels are working well. I've somewhat adjusted to the energy that I spend at work, and I'm learning how to manage that. So again, it's part of mental health, and I think this is a good topic where we will segue with today's discussion. But yeah, before I move on, I do want to give time. So Miran and Hans, if you guys would like to, you can write in the comments, like, what have you been up to this past few weeks, if you wanted to share anything. Miran, I will definitely have you join on stage with me. So if you'd like to, I will go ahead and, well, if you want to type or if you want to speak, it's up to you. It's really all up to you. I see that she's typing right now. Would you prefer to join me on stage? For my life updates, I had a first Zumba basking in the festival that held in my city. I'm going to have another one this weekend. Oh my gosh, so you started dancing. Yes, I think you might have told me that you got involved with Zumba. That's great, and you said I'd love to. Okay. I will invite you to speak.
Hello.
Hey, good to hear you.
Yeah, good to see you. Finally.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so yeah. So like for my life update, I had my first Zumba busking. Yeah, it is busking, right?
Ah,
Busking session, like
is it like
performance. A street.
basking, like BASKING, or I'm not sure what busking is. Is that like part of the event name?
Like it's like street performance.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So I practiced a lot, and I'm going to practice a lot. Another one. Yeah, that is. Yeah. So I have to practice.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that sounds so fun. So like, are you performing on the streets? Are you part of it too?
Uh. Yeah. So, for that, my teacher is holding a big Zumba festival
Mm-hmm.
like this weekend, and she's going to hold the event. She's going to hold the event, so I'm gonna be there. And so we have a like we had a like warm up session.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna be on the stage with her.
Oh.
So with my like 16 or 17 members. So yeah.
Wow.
So that is what is gonna happen
Wow.
this weekend.
Oh my god, that's awesome. Is that what's been keeping you busy lately? Because I haven't seen you in a month or so.
Yeah, so yesterday I practiced, a lot, like for like 2 hours and 3 hours. So because I think we need to like synchronize, right? So we need to
Mm-hmm.
synchronize our like movement. So my teacher like asked me something to
Mm-hmm.
do quite overwhelming for me. But
Oh my god.
because this is my first time to learn how to move my body, like how to
Mm-hmm.
dance. So I don't know, like I have no idea like what it works. I have no idea. So yeah, so that's yeah. So that's my life update. I can say
Oh
yeah.
my god. Oh my god. I'm just so happy you're dancing too. Oh my god. Because like I'm so proactive in dance recently or lately, like this past year.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
not that good as you, but
No, don't
I,
say that.
I'm just trying, I'm trying to follow my teacher's move. Yeah. So so that's why I try to keep myself a little bit busy
Mhm.
because of my dance practice, and yeah, so trying to like figure something out. And my actually my husband was there to like see my performance. Like he said, oh, you're not that good at that, but you try so hard. But that is very rude or true, so I couldn't, I couldn't say anything about it. But
Yeah.
just on the meeting that just I'm it was my first time to like dance
Mhm.
with the with the audience. I think this time I did great.
Mhm. You did
Yeah.
fantastic. No, that's amazing. I think, we all have to start somewhere when we dance, like Zumba is great because, you are going to sweat a lot and it's good for your health and it's really fun because I've done Zumba in the past and it's addicting. It really is fun. And I think it's amazing that you have Zumba Busk, like you can actually dance, for events. I think that's wonderful because it's also a great, like I say liability. Maybe that's not the right word I'm looking for, but it's like something that's supposed to mark like how far you've improved as a dancer, and it gives you a reason to keep dancing Zumba, right? Because there's a reason you're dancing is because you're going to perform, right?
Oh yeah. So
That's. Mhm.
my teacher is very
Mhm.
uh how can I like describe her? Yeah, she's very passionate. Yeah, she's very passionate about like dancing, and she's willing to give her like extra lesson, but she didn't get any money for that, but she's trying to like motivate her students, me, like me. So yeah,
Oh.
so like personally I really respect her work ethic, because she's even though she didn't get like eh, she didn't get like any money for that, but she's trying to give her just more lessons for the performance, right?
Uh huh.
So we have like regular um free work session,
Mhm.
but for the like performance we need extra time for that. So
Yeah.
she's making time for the practice. And so we have that's practice like on that day, so we are going there and we practice, yeah,
Oh
very
wow.
hard. So yeah, so but she didn't get like any money for that. So I feel a little bit bad for that, because she's working, basically she's working,
Mhm.
but she's very passionate
Oh
about per- performance and other thing. So
wow.
and this weekend I think maybe like 700 to 900 Zumba people will be there. So it's quite like huge Zumba festival.
Oh my.
Uh yeah. So that's why my teacher wants me, better. Wants me, yeah, to be better than that, because there'll be so many people. And if I just if I don't like synchronize the movement, just I be kind of like standing out, so it'd be a little bit like stressful for me. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So
Wow.
that's a thing. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So, okay, so your teacher is very passionate and she's not asking for money. She's just doing this out of, her sheer passion for it, right? Is my understanding.
Yeah.
And she's
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
offering more time to work with you and because she wants to make sure that you know what you're doing, right? For your performance. Is that my understanding?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's right.
Oh my god, if I had a teacher like that, I would take advantage. So I'm really glad you're taking advantage of this, Miran. That's amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my life updates, and yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy to like share with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully just I can
Mm-hmm.
keep keep practicing, and yeah, keep
Mm-hmm.
doing Zumba. Yeah,
I hope so
for a long
too.
time. Yeah,
I,
for a long time.
yeah, I mean it's awesome that you are because it is a lot of work, especially since you're gonna be sweating a lot, and you also have a performance. So I assume you have to memorize routines, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I realized that my memory didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Then I expected, so I that means that I had to like practice a lot to memorize to
Yes.
memorize all those movements. So yeah. Yeah.
Oh
Anyway.
wow. That's amazing. Oh, I have one last question before I move on to Hans, because I saw he wrote a lot of responses on YouTube.
Okay.
The last question I wanted to ask was, how was your experience performing in front of an audience? Were you by yourself? Were you with a group of people? And how did you feel?
I was with a group of people, and
Mm-hmm.
it was like 7 or 8 ish.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So mm, yeah, I was very nervous. I
Mm-hmm.
w- so all I thought was just my next movement.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My teacher told me that you should enjoy the moment, right?
Yes, yes.
Well, I actually I didn't like that I stood out,
Mm-hmm.
you know for my wrong movement, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
we need to be like very synchronized, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I was very nervous. I was like thinking my next movement, my next movement, because
Yeah.
I think so, because it is my first performance.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, like like how can I describe that, how
Mm-hmm.
can I just like motivate the like audience, like how to be natural, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's the thing, just freaking nervous. I can say.
No, that's totally understandable. Yeah, because I mean, I think it doesn't change for anyone. Even for my experiences, whenever I perform on stage, I'm always scared. I'm always nervous, and that follows you. So once you get over that, you're like, okay, I feel great, and I think you will
Mhm.
definitely improve with time and also feel more comfortable on stage. What is the
Mhm.
hardest part for you for dance? Is it just memorizing the routines, or is there anything else that makes it difficult?
Just um I don't know, just we are just I realized that some people are watching me, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
can be a little bit overwhelming, right?
Yes, yes.
Because yeah, because in fact they I think they thought, oh, they're okay, but 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 my perspective is, uh I I don't, I have to be perfect,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to ruin my performance, because it's a like group performance,
Mm-hmm.
and so synchronization is the key, right? It's the
Right.
key of the group performance, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all I thought was just like synchronization
Yeah.
and just you need to be perfect, just
Yeah.
yeah, kind of thing.
Oh
Yeah,
gosh. Yeah, I get that.
yeah. So, but I think just I think if I did that alone, I didn't do that
Mhm.
because uh, sometimes I'm very uh extrovert, but sometimes I'm very introvert. So
Mm.
I don't know. I mean, just I'm quite shy.
Mhm.
I'm quite shy if I'm on stage. So
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, that's the thing.
Okay. So it just depends whether you are feeling introverted or extroverted, right?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
right.
That's right. Okay, yeah. Wow, I'm really happy for you, Mira. And just hearing all of this and your experience, and I'm really glad that I'm hearing you say that you're gonna keep pursuing Zumba for how long do you think you'll keep pursuing it? Are you thinking like long term, or is it for like
Uh,
you're in a
I'm
phase?
I'm yeah, I'm considering to like keep it longer. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
longer like like a year. So yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah, so
amazing.
I think this it's been maybe like 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 3 months to since I started Zumba. So
Oh wow! Oh my god!
yeah, yeah. So time flies, right?
Yes, I mean that's the last time I spoke with you too. It's been 3 months, I think. Oh my gosh.
And I ghosted,
Yeah, you ghosted me for a long time. I'm just kidding. No, it's okay. Like, I totally understand it. I'm really glad to hear that you're doing like
Yeah.
fun things for yourself. Because last time we spoke, you said you were burnt out from work. So I'm glad you
Uh,
found like finding joy again in like through Zumba.
yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, so yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Miran. I will. You can stay in the stage with me, which is perfectly fine. Because I'm gonna read Hans's answer quickly. It's on YouTube, so I'm like pulling up my phone right now to check what he wrote. So he said, learning Da Vinci and also West Coast swing. So that's what he's been doing. Yeah. So I mentioned before, or maybe it might be your first time for people who watch this video, and also for you, Miran and Esther. Hans is my friend from dance, but he's also my freelance quote quote my freelance editor, so he's helping me with editing videos. So he watches my stream on YouTube and lets me know if there's any discrepancy. So again, like if there's audio issues, I have to stop the lesson momentarily and get the audio going, then come back. So yeah, because like the priority is you guys get your videos. So yeah, it's so nice of him. I agree with Esther. I agree, Hans. Esther says that's so nice of you. He's also doing West Coast Swing. I've been seeing his Instagram. Like, he started posting recordings of himself dancing, which is awesome because I tend to do that as a dancer, is record my performances, and then I like to see how much I've grown as a dancer. So I'm really glad to see him do that as well. And he said he's learning how to follow and maybe be a switch dancer in the future. That's awesome. I love that. So, in terms of dancing, we have these terminology of leading and following. So typically or traditionally, they would say the female is the follower, the leader is the male. But in modern day, you can be a leader. Females can be leaders if they want to, and male can be followers if they want to. If you learn both roles, you are called a switch. So a person can suddenly choose to be the leader and their partner is a follower, and then maybe sometime in the song the follower wants to switch to a leader, and then or someone proposes it, but that's a switch. So I noticed that Hans is trying to learn how to be a switch, and I'm also trying to learn how to be a switch too, because I'm more of a follower, but I started learning leading skills so I can teach people how to dance West Coast.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's why I'm trying to be very inclusive. I see he's doing the same thing too. So I think in response to Esther, he put a smiley face and a heart. I don't know if that shows on my stream window because I can't really see it. It's too small on Discord. But yeah, I'm keeping my Discord screen open just so I can respond to you guys. Esther is typing. He said aw. She said aw, sorry. Yes. Esther's here. So a little thing about Esther is that she's actually my colleague from university. She's also a teacher. So she's an English teacher. She's more of the English rhetoric, right, Esther? Like, I'm more of the linguistics aspect of it, of like how to learn the language. Esther's all about like rhetoric, how to say things with meaning behind them. That's more of a advanced or fluent level of English. So if you know your English really well, that's where Esther is going to thrive in. But of course, she's also an excellent ESL teacher. So yeah, plugging her in. She said yes. All right. So I will respond to Esther shortly. We are going to transition to stress management, which is today's conversation topic. And also, Esther, feel free to keep typing whatever is on your mind, even though if I'm moving forward, I go back and read the comments anyways. So she said, thanks, Hana, for the nice intro. Yeah, no problem. Okay, so we're gonna have a discussion on stress management. Esther, you're welcome to comment or join on stage. Hans, you're welcome to comment or join on stage too if you'd like. But Miran for sure will be the main speaker for today because I want her to practice her English as much as possible, especially since I haven't seen you in 3 months, you know. Oh my god, Susie's here. Hello, Susie. Good to see you. It's great timing. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about stress management. Miran and Susie, if you'd like, and of course Hans and Esther, optional if you'd like. Can you define what stress is?
Wow.
Yeah, take your time on it.
A lot of deep questions. Okay.
Yeah, today's mental health day. What is stress?
How can I say, the stress is the thing that makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's a great definition. I see Esther's also typing. Currently, what I'm going through right now, that is a mood. Relatable, Esther, very relatable. Susie, do you have an answer for what stress is? And feel free to give another answer to Miran. You can give as many examples of what is stress. And I'm just reacting to Esther's comment. I'm saying, yes, we're in the same boat together. What else is stress? I don't know if Susie is busy, so it's okay if you can't type, Susie. That's okay too. But yeah, I will never force you. Okay, go ahead, Miran. Sorry, I keep talking over you.
I'm still processing.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. My friend.
Still processing, so.
That's okay. Hi, John. Good to see you. My best friend John is here. He's joining the chat, or maybe he's just listening, eavesdropping as usual. He's lurking. Yeah, so keep... John just disappeared since I mentioned him. He disappeared. Oh, he came back. Okay. He disappeared and he came back. I think he's trolling me. Hans said, stress equals a feeling that causes discomfort or need to react or change. Ooh, that's a good one too. Just so you know, I grabbed a lot of definitions from Google, so I'm gonna be reading a whole list out for you. So take your time. I'll give it another minute, and then I will provide a slide for it.
Stress is I don't know, the stress can be, the emotion sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
because it's kind of mixture of your worrying and your anger, it's kind of mixture of the emotion, right?
Mm-hmm, that's correct.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I cannot say it is the definition of the stress, but just sometimes like there's a thing that we can definitely feel, right? So
Yeah.
that is the stress, but we cannot like describe like what it is, like inside, right? So
Right.
it's really hard to like define the stress right now. So
No, that's okay. There is a lot of definitions for stress, and also it's like what you mentioned. It's emotionally. We'll talk about the effects on mental and emotional health with stress, and also physical impact of stress too. But yeah, we'll move on. Definitely, I think Susie accidentally disconnected, or she might be busy. But the definition for stress is that it's a state of worry or mental tension caused by a difficult situation. It's close to what Hans mentioned, that it's a feeling that causes discomfort or need to react or change. Stress is a natural human response that prompts humans to address challenges and threats in our lives, and it's how the body responds to pressure or tension. So you can see that stress has different definitions, but they're all more of like an experience for us. Hence why today's topic is circulating around mental health. Okay. So the next question, what are the reasons why we experience stress? Can you give me some examples, Miran? Why do we experience stress?
I don't know, like the common situation can be the situation, didn't go than I expected, like sometimes, we expect A, but the situation like can go to B, right?
Oh, yes, that's a good one. Expectations are not being met. That's a great one for stress. Like you mentioned that we expect something to happen, but it doesn't happen, right? And that can definitely cause a stressful situation for someone. Is there anything else that you can think of? And also Hans, John, if you'd like to, if you want to share why we experience stress, you're welcome to comment as well.
But like there's like something that you don't want to do, right? Like someone's like forces you to do something that you don't want to do.
Yes, I like that. And I love that you talked about that. It's like something that you're expected to do, but you don't want to. And hello, Nina. Good to see you. I'm glad you made it. It's been a while. But yes, I agree with that. So you said expectations not being met is number one. Another one could be being forced to do something you don't like, so it makes you feel uncomfortable. I see Nina is typing. Yeah, it's good to see you.
Yeah.
Yes, it's been a while. Nina, feel free to, if you want to write a response. So what are the reasons why we experience stress? So feel free to type it if you'd like. I'm just having you guys brainstorm because there's going to be a lot of answers anyways. So can you think of anything else?
Yeah, so what about you? So like what are the reasons why you experience stress?
You're asking me like why I experience You're putting me on the spot like that. Why do I experience stress? I think for me it's I think it's the same as you, like expecting something that will happen. So you want something to happen, but it doesn't. And that can cause stress if it doesn't work out, right? So for me, it's like when I teach, I have an expectation of my plan and idea. So when I do lesson plans, I usually tell myself, okay, this is the window of how much you can spend time on this. And it's just for my organization, my organization reference whenever I'm teaching or managing a class. And sometimes I accept that, sometimes things happen and I have to be okay with giving that leg room in there. Especially if my ideas don't work out. So let's say I teach a lesson in grammar and the students didn't understand it. It surprises me and I'm like, oh my God, you guys don't know it? So I have to push all of my ideas to the next day or something like that. Yes. And then I see that's definitely one of the things for me is just like that stress of trying to deliver things on time. Maybe it could be relating to my perfectionism because I am a perfectionist. So there's that. Let's see. I see Hans said, when you are riding a roller coaster and it is going to go to the top of the big hill. Oh yeah, that can, the danger, like, right? The fight or flight feeling, that can definitely cause stress, like fear. John said, oh, never mind. Is this a chat for stream? Yes, it is, John. My stress management comes from staying focused on the problem, working through it, one step at a time as a team. Oh, that's a good one. We'll talk about management in particular, because there's a segment here where I talk about, how do you manage your stress? So John's answer is going to be perfect for that. So we'll come back to your answer then, John. But thank you for participating and putting it there. Anything else, Susie, that you can think of? Or is that, do you have anything else to share for why we experience stress?
I think there are so many situations like that we can just experience stress, but like personally, like I think like it happened like several hours ago, and I try my daughter, I try my daughter to go, to the like preschool, right? So
Right.
I prepared, and but she's been really whining, like
Oh.
it's something so.
Yeah.
So it was very stressful, I can say, because I persuade her to go to the preschool, but like she's been like whining, whining. So it was very stressful, and but it ended up she went there. Yeah, she went there, but it was stressful. I think sometimes the environment can cause some stress. Like for example, if you like listen to very loud music or loud noise, you can be very stressed, right? So sometimes the environmental issue can cause some stress
Absolutely.
for some people. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Different environments, a sudden change, it can definitely trigger stress. So excellent answer. Yeah, you guys gave amazing answers to share regarding experiences with stress. And of course, firsthand experiences are always the best. Some of the examples of why we experience stress is that there's a lot of pressure. So if we feel some sort of pressure on a situation, it does trigger stress. Big changes in your life. So you mentioned something like your daughter going into preschool and she's whining and crying. She's not adjusting really well in the beginning, right? So that is a normal reaction from children, and of course adults too. When you feel worried about something, so if you feel worried about, I don't know, like let's say bills, right? So financial situations are always, it's like a good example of what makes you feel stressed about something is that you're worried about, if you're making ends meet, you're able to pay the bill on time, etc. So worry does also trigger stress. One that I do have experience with is lack of control over the outcome of a situation. So it's either you don't have control of the situation, which makes you feel stressed because you want to feel in control, or it's the absence of control when you want the result of something, which you mentioned, like, we're expecting that we do A, B, C, and we expect that EFG is the result, but sometimes that doesn't happen, right? So that's the feeling of control, and that is the most I relate to this one the most because as a teacher, control is important to me, especially in class management. Another one is having overwhelming responsibilities. So if you are committed to a lot of things, like, for example, Miran, like you mentioned about dancing and memorizing many routines for your performances, it can feel overwhelming if you don't have the dances memorized, right? Especially if you're participating in more than one routine. lack of work activities or changes in your life, this is something that maybe not that you guys probably have not considered. But if you don't have like things to do, let's say you have a lot of free time, that does cause a lot of stress to people because maybe you think, oh, am I not being productive enough? Or maybe I'm not sure of what I'm doing, etc. Or it does cause stress because you don't know what to do with your free time. And I've experienced that after graduating from university. I've had that stress. It's a good kind of feeling, but also bad at the same time. You know, it's a blessing in disguise that you have free time. But what are you going to do if you have that, you know, like excessively? Like, what do you do with that time? That can definitely cause stress. Another one would be definitely a very negative experience. If you've experienced discrimination, if you've experienced hatred or abuse in some way, that is definitely a stressful situation. One that I would say is the most common in terms of stress. I think when people think of stress, they think more of the most negative effects. At least that's what I think. But yeah. All right, next discussion we have, why do you think it is important to manage your stress? So, Miran, go ahead and let me know why. Why do you think it's important?
Because, like, in our lives, we have many things to achieve, right? But, if you just, you know, if you're like too emotional, like if you are in stress, sometimes the brain, you know, doesn't work. Like the brain doesn't work. It stops working.
Right.
It's kind of like freezing, right? So I think just I heard like brain fog. Like there's a like, I know there's a like symptom like called brain fog. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So if you are like physically stressed, anyway, you are mentally sick or just you are physically sick. So,
yes.
So that's why we need to, you know, manage our stress, to be healthy.
Yes. No, that's a great answer. I love that. You even address, you know, physical health will be impacted by stress. Also, your mental and emotional health could be impacted too. I love that you mentioned the word brain fog because that is actually a very consistent experience for a lot of people who feel stressed. It's like you can't think straight. Your mind is too noisy. I tend to describe my thoughts as being very noisy and I feel restless. It's because of the stress. So yeah, excellent answer. Hans, if you want to add, or John, if you want to add, that's totally fine with me and Nina too. It's just an open discussion, so feel free to type whenever you want. I will read it out loud, and I'll happily do so too. But while we're waiting for other people to write their response, Miran, do you have another reason why we have to manage our stress?
For me, if I'm, you know, if something is very stressful, my physical symptom like comes out. So like for example, if I'm too, you know, if I'm like under the stress, I feel like, you know, I have a headache or just I have a like, how can I say, like I have a like skin reaction. I don't know like how to call it. Like it's kind of very I don't know. Just I need to like Google it because I don't know this in English. So yeah. So for me, managing the stress is the very essential thing because I want to be comfortable, right? So if everything is alright, if everything is okay, we feel very peaceful, right?
Right.
But if something is out, we feel very unstable. Yeah, we feel very unstable. So it can be mental issue, it can be like physical issue, right?
Yes.
So to just maintain a happy life, so to, you know, managing my stress and your stress, our stress is the key.
Yes, absolutely. And I like that you mentioned that So you address like skin issues, right? Would you say it's a rash? Is that the word you're
kind
looking
of
for?
like lash. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Agma? Agma? I don't
Oh,
know.
eczema.
Kinda.
Eczema.
Eczema. Yeah. Eczema kind of thing. I don't
Oh.
know. Like, yeah. So, yeah, it's killing me actually. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, I definitely understand that. So another word that I was thinking of is if it's not eczema, there's a word called hive, like hives. So basically, when you say you're breaking out, so breaking out in hives, it's an expression. So basically, it's when your skin is very swollen and it's red and it's just big, like that's hives, right? So that's some people have that. Like one of my best friends, when she was very stressed in nursing at the very beginning, she broke out in hives. She was very stressed. Yeah, so different skin reaction could result from stress. I have my own as well, which I will discuss here in terms of the physical symptoms. For me, I have psoriasis, so when I feel stressed, I have a very high flare out. So when I say flare out, that means different parts of my body are starting to have red spots on them, and that's because of my psoriasis and because of stress. So everyone's skin reaction is different, but these are some of the few I've realized experience in terms of skin experiences. There's eczema flare-outs, there's psoriasis flare-outs, there's breaking out in hives, there's also skin rashes, etc. Like a lot of people have different reactions to stress. So yeah, great answer. I see Nina is still typing, so Nina, please go ahead and continue if you'd like. Yeah, I see that Hans wrote his answer here. He said, brain fog is too real. It's really hard to think through situations if I'm stressed. Simple example is leading a dance pattern that you're not familiar with. So yeah, so from Hans's experience, since he's a leader, sometimes when you are leading in a social dancing or partner dance, the leader has to think about what they're going to do next. And I understand this because now that I'm a leader, it's really hard for me to think about what am I going to do for my followers. So I have a lot of brain fog too. So I totally understand Hans's explanation. You can feel very stressed if you can't make if you can't commit to an idea or an action that you're going to do. Another example of this could be like, let's say you're driving on the freeway and you want to change lanes. You have to commit to it, but someone started to speed up because they notice you're changing lanes. So it's like you feel stressed because you're like, am I gonna hit this guy? Should I stay here? Should I cut them off? Like stuff like that. It's very small, but that is a good example of stress too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nina, go ahead and keep typing in the chat. Take your time. I will read your response. Oh, okay. She said, because it is necessary for a person's growth. Too many stress that lead to helpless situations due to overwhelming situation and could develop a trauma. But when there is almost no stress, humans tend to create stress for themselves. No, that's a great point. So yeah, it is actually really beneficial for a person's growth to manage their stress because it does affect you as you grow older. Not knowing how to manage it when you're younger makes you kind of late into, your mental health and emotional growth. So yes, and it could possibly result with a trauma, which is an excellent observation there too. Because I know some friends who don't know how to handle their stress, and they're just acting on their emotions. They don't know how to manage it, etc. It's very common, unfortunately. And you said, "Yay, sorry for the grammar." Yeah, no problem. Don't worry. I'm glad you're here, and we're just here to practice speaking and typing in English, so perfectly fine. So yeah, you guys gave a lot of excellent points about stress, and I feel like this is relevant for all of us, right? After COVID, we are more mentally aware of our mental health and stress and how to cope with them, etc. So I think this is great that you guys have amazing insights here. Long-term stress can result with health problems like heart disease, obesity, high blood pressure, and depression. These are some of the medical experiences that I saw on Google. John can definitely vouch on more if he knows more because he is a nurse. He does work in the medical field. But these are some of the examples that I saw on Google. And of course, there's probably a long laundry list somewhere that'll tell you exactly what symptoms are present. But I'm just providing some examples here. So the next follow-up question would be, what happens if you don't manage your stress levels? So you can speak from experience, you can talk about people you've observed, or anything. GERD! Oh yeah, Nina said GERD. That could be one. Mira, so with the question here, what happens if you don't manage your stress levels? Do you have any ideas or maybe first-hand experiences that you've had when you didn't manage it?
I'm gonna explode.
Explode! Yes, you feel overwhelmed. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Yes, feeling like you want to explode. That is normal. You feel like you're unstable emotionally, which is valid, right? Unfortunately. Anyone else? What happens if you don't manage your stress levels? I see like John, Nina, and Hans too. If you'd like to answer, feel free to. I will read your answers aloud. I think for me, when I didn't manage my stress levels, I tend to... There's a word for it. It's called projection. I tend to project my frustrations onto people, which is not healthy. You should not project. So projecting basically means, let's say I feel angry and I talk to Miran and I become angry with Miran. So basically I'm shifting all of my anger onto Miran when it's not her fault. It's because of... That's called projection. So you're trying to... In a way, you're ruining someone's day. You know, you're using them... Another term that we use is you're using them as a punching bag, mentally and emotionally speaking, and that's not good. So yeah, there is a very high case of projection. That's what I used to experience in the past, was that I didn't know how to manage my emotions if I didn't manage my stress levels. Anything else you can think of, Miriam?
Maybe I think just there are some people that if they just if they don't manage their stress level, there are some very there are some people that commit suicide because they couldn't manage their stress, right?
Yeah.
So in Korea, like there's it is kind of listen one. It is very I feel really really sorry for her because there's a like elementary school teacher and some parents had like 400 like objection to her because her student is quite weird, doing kind of absurd behavior in the school. So the student parent like had 400 rejection to the teacher, and in the end the teacher like committed suicide.
Oh no.
So there's a very like poor thingy. So poor thingy. But I think the case happened because she couldn't like handle too much stress for that. But I could feel her because I tell the elementary school student like before, just I could feel her feelings. So yeah, it was very I felt really sorry for her. So I don't know like how to describe,
Yeah, you empathize with her because you know exactly how it feels. Yeah, it's definitely true because if you feel stressed because of, experiencing rejection, whether it is from, dating, work, getting a job, or, feeling accepted, rejection hurts. It really does. So like coming to terms with that, it can result with stress because you feel like you can't overcome that. So like what you mentioned with the teacher, it could unfortunately result with suicide, right? Like you said. So if you don't manage your stress levels, it can definitely be super harmful. So I'm really glad you brought that up, Miran, because again, like stress can be a small thing, but when you don't manage it or you don't take care of it over time, it can result with something like, you can't undo, death, unfortunately. So yeah, I think it's important to learn how to manage your stress early on, because it's, knowing the skills and knowing what to do in managing your stress could definitely become more manageable. And of course, having someone to talk to about this or refer to an expert could definitely help too. So it's a great point, Miran. So thank you for bringing that up. Um,
Um,
I think Hans said here, I would find myself unable to do things. I would be frozen. So the experience that Hans has just explained is called a deer in the headlights, I would say. Or maybe you just feel overwhelmed. Again, it could be resulting with brain fog, I guess. Is that you feel so overwhelmed you can't really do anything. That's why I said it's like deer in the headlights kind of experience. So when you are maybe overwhelmed, you feel like you don't know what to do next. And that's totally normal. I totally understand that. Nina said, in my case, since I am kind of not an emotional person, I hope I am more emotional. My brain keeps ruminating about the problems that causes me stress, like what if situations and how to solve them. Sometimes it disturbs my sleeping quality because my subconscious is apparently full of anger and frustration. Okay, so like yours is like concern, like worry, right? So I actually have that experience too. If I feel stressed and worried about something, I'm unable to sleep properly because my brain is very noisy. I can't focus on sleeping because I'm too worried about the problems that I need to face, and it's also important with stress management that there's a time and place to handle when to accommodate and deal with your stress. And it's also important to know, recognize that sleeping will be good for you if you let yourself sleep or find a way to help promote your sleep so you could be better the next day and be able to think a bit more clearly. So yeah, I think that if you don't manage your stress, it can really ruin your life. That's essentially the bottom line. Stress can ruin your life. So I agree. And yes, Han says you got it. Yeah, I get you. We're the same. Okay, so moving on. Great job, everyone. What are the symptoms of stress? So you can just say any of them. So I noticed Miran said, getting itchy, getting like eczema. I mentioned psoriasis, physical symptoms. Is there anything else you guys mentioned? Oh yeah. Nina mentioned not being able to sleep. That's called insomnia. So those are definitely symptoms of stress. Is there anything else you guys can think of?
I mean, stomach ache.
Stomach ache? Yeah! No, that's good. It can actually manifest into stomach aches. That's correct. That is very true. If you feel super stressed, you can definitely experience stomach ache. Hair falling? Yes. If you feel so stressed, sometimes your hair it can fall off easily. It has happened to me, especially when I am combing my hair. I notice that I have a lot of hair fallouts, a lot. So that's when I notice, oh gosh, I am very, very stressed. So yes, losing hair it can be part of the stress experience too. Anything else you can think of? Take your time. And just as a reference, all of these... Yes, go ahead, sorry.
I mean, sleep deprived. I don't know.
Yes, that is correct. So sleep deprivation or insomnia. Those are the same ones. So I'll type it here. Sleep deprivation / insomnia. Yeah, so they're the same thing, like you can't sleep because you're so stressed. So we talked about a lot of physical ones, so that it's a good thing you guys are focusing on physical symptoms. I should have clarified here. What are the physical symptoms of stress? So I will be reading a collection of symptoms that I gathered from an online reference. I forgot what it's called, but it's gonna... I cited it, so you'll see it in a second in the next slide. And Nina, take your time. I'm gonna go ahead and open the next slide. So there is a lot here, and I feel like it's important to just address all of them, given, again, we're all adults here, so these are normal symptoms of stress. So in physical signs, physical symptoms. Difficulty breathing. So if you have, for example, panic attacks, if you have so much stress, you can actually experience a panic attack, which is unfortunately something I did experience when I was in college. While I was still traumatized from, I'll save the story for next time, but I was traumatized at one point that having excessive stress caused me to actually have a full-blown panic attack in class. So I had difficulty breathing. And I mentioned it there too, panic attacks. Let's see. Han said shaking, like hands can't stay still. Yes, so like your hands are trembling. So tremors are definitely one of the stress symptoms. I didn't mention it here, but that's a good one. Blurred eyesight, having sore eyes, so losing focus on stuff. That can definitely happen. I think I experienced it once some time ago. I can't remember, but I think I experienced having blurred eyesight once and also having sore eyes because I'm looking at a screen for too long. So stress can definitely affect your vision. Sleep problems, like you guys already mentioned, like insomnia or sleep deprivation. Fatigue. So fatigue is a word that describes feeling tired, excessively tired. Like maybe you just slept and in the morning you woke up, you're still feeling very tired. So stress can make you feel extremely exhausted. Muscle ache and headaches. If you are feeling high levels of stress, you can actually feel it physically through your muscles, and you can feel it through headaches, which is something I actually do have much frequently, unfortunately. And there's also chest pains and high blood pressure due to stress as well. So this is collected from mind.org.uk. There's my reference there for you guys. There are more symptoms here. So more physical signs, indigestion or heartburn. So maybe if you're feeling high levels of stress, I did feel heartburn at some point, but yeah, it can be manifested through stomach pains, which is also part of indigestion or heartburn. Yeah, stomach problems could happen here. Constipation or diarrhea. Definitely, you might have problems with your bowel movement when you're feeling high levels of stress. Feeling sick, dizzy, or maybe you're feeling fainting, or you feel faint. Sorry, if you feel faint as well. You can also experience sudden weight gain or weight loss. You can develop rashes or itchy skin. You can also develop sweating. And then there could be changes, especially for women. If you are experiencing high levels of stress, it can affect your period, and it could also affect your menstrual cycle. So to touch on this last part a little bit, I'll give you an example. I've noticed for myself, the older I get, my menstrual cycle is more like when I experience high level of stress, my period disappears. The entire week or month, it doesn't come back. And it's absent because I'm experiencing high levels of stress. And that could affect my cycle, especially if your menstrual cycle is inconsistent like mine. It's really hard to keep track of it. So stress can actually affect your menstrual cycle. I assume when they say changes to period, it could be the symptoms of periods. For example, maybe you might experience cramping. Maybe you might feel nausea. Maybe those symptoms that you usually feel that hints towards having your period might even be absent, and then suddenly you're suddenly on your period, for example, right? So there can be significant changes with large levels of stress when you are with your hormones, especially. So that's what's affecting your menstrual cycle. There's also a bit more physical signs. If you already have existing problems, so let's say what Miran already said, that if you already had pre-existing problems before stress, it can cause it to get worse. So I provided my example here was my psoriasis symptom was, since I already had flare-ups, which was usual during seasons, when I experienced a high level of stress, my body started to flare up with more psoriasis. So for example, I would have it on my arm, then suddenly it would form under my eye, or it would be in the back of my neck. Like it would appear in different places where it usually wasn't in the past, but that's an example of a flare-up. So there's multiple appearances of my psoriasis, but also they're found in different places. So these are the physical signs. I think in the next slide, I will be talking about what are some symptoms in terms of mental and emotional. Sorry, let me rephrase that. So, what are the mental and emotional symptoms of stress? So, can you guys think of mental and emotional symptoms that are caused by stress? What do you think, Miran?
You know, maybe worrying.
Worrying.
Worrying. Yeah.
Okay.
Anxious.
Good.
Anxiety, maybe. Yeah, anxiety.
Oh, anxiety.
Yeah. And maybe like depression.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, depression.
Yeah,
Those are excellent points.
Maybe I don't know, like losing like logical thoughts. Maybe you're like kind of like too emotional. Like there's many kind of like ups and downs. Maybe I don't know like how to call it.
Oh no, those are great examples. I think the first one you said was not thinking straight, right? Like you said, you can't have organized thoughts. So that's brain fog, which is what Hans and you mentioned earlier. So that's brain fog for sure. So being unable to organize your thoughts or recall things. You also mentioned like feeling high and low points of emotions, right? Like you might experience extremes, emotional extreme points. Okay, those are great.
Yeah.
Hans said lack of motivation and paranoia. Yes, that can definitely be impacted by stress. So if you have large exposure to stress levels, you can lack motivation to do stuff, like especially your passions or even simply waking up to go to work. That can definitely be a result of that. Paranoia, you could feel paranoid of thoughts, intrusive thoughts that may or may not be true because your stress is starting to get the best of you. So that's true. Okay, so those are great answers. Let's go ahead and see what we wrote here. So for emotional and mental symptoms, being irritable, angry, impatient, or wound up. So just showing like significant, like negative reactions. So not having enough patience, being easily short-tempered, being angry. Wound up is just another way of saying like you're easy to piss off. Like you're easy to I don't know how else to say it. It's like you're already walking on a tightrope and just one push is enough to make you become angry and just show through emotions. Feeling overburned or overwhelmed. Overburned is like maybe you burn yourself out because you're doing too many stuff. The stress is too much on you that you feel burnt out. So that's overburned. Overwhelmed is just if you have too many things on your plate, you don't know what to do. It's like what Hans said, like feeling like a deer in the headlights. You're so overwhelmed with things you can't decide what to do next or take action of. Miran, you said anxious, nervous, or afraid. So excellent job mentioning those. You have anxiety, feeling nervous, feeling scared. Like your thoughts are racing and you can't switch off thoughts. So I actually have something like this. It means like you're thinking so quickly and you can't turn off your thoughts, which could result with insomnia, which is something I definitely experience. So my thoughts are always racing whenever I feel stress. So it's difficult to turn off your thoughts if you don't know how to manage it. And Hans said wound up means like on the edge. Yes. If you feel wound up, it means you're on the edge. Yes, thank you. Being unable to enjoy yourself. So I believe you mentioned that you can't enjoy hobbies. Oh yeah, that's what Hans said. He said lack of motivation. So being unable to enjoy yourself. So not having fun, or you feel like, usually things that you're excited to do, you find yourself thinking, no, you're not excited anymore, or you're unmotivated to do things. And of course, depression, which is what Miran addressed here. There are more. So here, we mentioned here depression already. Uninterested in life. So people who are overwhelmed with stress, they tend to keep to themselves. So you have lack of interest in life. like you've lost your sense of humor. I definitely feel that. Like, you kind of feel a bit lifeless is kind of the expression I would say. It's like you exist in the world, but you don't feel like you're participating in it because you're so overwhelmed with your stress and problems. It feels like you are a passenger, like just watching things happening, and you're not active in your life at the moment. That's how I felt, at least. Next here, I've mentioned like you've lost your sense of humor. Yep, a sense of dread, so feeling fear to do something. So Miran mentioned this earlier about, like, for example, doing things that you are not fond of, like going to work or doing tasks at work that you don't like. You can feel a sense of dread. That's where that comes from. Being worried or tense, of course. Being neglected or lonely, and of course, again, existing mental health problems getting worse too. Let's see if there's more. Oh. I think I forgot to remove stuff here. Oh well, I mean, I opened this here. How can stress make you behave? So, moving on here. Stress can make you behave like it's hard to make a decision, which is what Hans already addressed here with Deer in the Headlights, and brain fog as well. Difficulty concentrating, for sure. Unable to remember things or make your memory feel slower than usual. This is something that I experience on a daily basis. You guys probably already watched me or engaged conversations with me where I actually have moments where I'm like, I can't remember what I did or things to recall. I have a very slow memory. So sometimes I always say, okay, I won't remember it now, but I'll remember in the future. It's a result of this, for sure. Constantly worried or having feelings of dread. We already addressed that. Snapping at people, which means it's easy to get angry at people. Biting your nails. I don't know if you guys do that or if you've seen children do that. Stress can be shown through nail biting. I notice that's something I do to this day. If I feel super stressed, I unconsciously bite my nails. Not to the point that I rip them off, but I just bite them because it's some sort of comfort for me. So if you notice people biting their nails, it could be a sign of, well, not could be, it's definitely a sign of stress for sure. And then I wrote pitch. It's supposed to be picking at or itching your skin. So scratching your skin if you have eczema, psoriasis, hives, rashes. So doing that kind of stuff is definitely as a result of stress. And there are more here. So you can grind your teeth or clench your jaw. I think this is most prevalent, especially if you're sleeping. I tend to grind my teeth when I'm sleeping, and that is definitely a sign of stress. I know this because when I wake up in the morning, sometimes my jaw hurts. So that's when I know I've been probably grinding my teeth in my sleep. For adults, especially, experience sexual problems such as losing interest in sex or being unable to enjoy sex. I've noticed that people who do feel stress, they lose that physical intimacy with their partners. So that is definitely what stress can do to a person, especially if that person is really engaged in physical intimacy. So yeah, stress can do a lot of stuff. Eat too much or too little. We already addressed this one with weight gain or weight loss. Smoking or using recreational drugs or drinking alcohol more than you usually would. This is because people are trying to make a short escape from their reality. And yes, that is very, very true, especially for adults, unfortunately. Restlessness, like you can't sit still. And also cry or feeling tearful. So these are definitely how stress can make you behave, especially when it's long term. So let's see. If you spend or shop too much, yeah, I think shopping or retail therapy is definitely one of the ways people try to cope with stress. So if you spend a lot of money or you shop too much, it's retail therapy. Just a little bit is fine for rewarding yourself. Excessively, it just becomes a coping mechanism, which is not good. And then I don't recall this as being one of my symptoms. I don't know if you can relate. Any of you guys, John, Nina, Miran, Hans, if you exercise as much as you usually would or you exercise too much. So, oh, sorry. I said not exercise as much as you usually would or you exercise too much. So there's like, again, extremes are being reached with exercising. So if there's a sudden change in your way of exercise, it could be a result of stress. and also withdraw from people around you. So when I say withdraw, it basically means like you isolate yourself. You're not really as social as you used to be. You tend to keep to yourself. So these are symptoms that you can see, or sorry, not symptoms. These are behaviors that you can see from people in terms of what stress does to a person. All right. We finally got to the last point, which is excellent here. And I know John wrote his answer earlier here, so I'm going to scroll up and find John's answer. So the question here is, how do you manage your stress? So for example, activities, habits, etc. So I will read what John said first. Oh, he deleted his comment. I think, yeah, he deleted his comment. He said something about how to cope with it. So this would be the right time. If you want to repost it again, John, that's totally fine with me. How do you manage with your stress? So this is more of what you do now, if you guys are doing it currently, or what you would suggest for other people too. Just to give ideas, especially in this conversation. So it's up there, Meng. Sorry. I can't find it. I'm blind, guys. I'm sorry. For me, it disappeared from the chat. Am I? Yeah. Oh, wait, no, never mind. I'm just being weird. Yeah, it's here. I found it, John. My bad. My stress management comes from staying focused on the problem and working through it one step at a time as a team. I forgive you. Rude. Thank you. Just kidding. Thank you. Just so you know, this guy bullies me on a daily basis. It's his right as my bestie. So I see from John, he likes to work with the problem. So I think for him, it's problem solving is definitely how he manages his stress, which is excellent. Of course, it's different for everyone. So you guys can all share how you guys cope with it. I think for me, it's dancing. Definitely dancing 4 times a week is helping with my stress levels, for sure. Miran, what about you?
Like they say, there are 2 things. There are 2 things I do to release my stress. Like one of them, So first one is maybe Zumba.
Yeah.
So Zumba. And second thing is video games, maybe.
Oh yes. I love that. I've totally forgot that you play video games.
Yeah. So I don't know. So actually, I persuade my younger brother to play with the video game that I do. So yeah. So this day we are playing. Yeah, we are playing together. So that is so much fun, and like he's helping me, I'm helping him. So it is so much fun, and there are 2 activities that I do.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. So you do Zumba and you also play games with your husband, right?
I'm like my husband is very busy right now, so like he cannot do video games for now, but yeah.
Oh, I see. So you're just doing like solo games. That's helping you
maybe
decompress.
RPG. So I'm playing like Lost Ark. So it is like Korean made MMORPG. So
nice.
So my brother and I are playing
Excellent.
it, I can say.
That's great. So you're bonding with your daughter basically.
So
nice.
it is fun. So I usually play support part, but like he's kind of like brutal dealer,
Yeah.
I always care for my younger brother. So yeah.
I'm glad that you're spending time with your brother too. So it's your daughter and your brother. That's great. I'm really glad that you have time to spend with them, and also it's helping you decompress too. So that's excellent. Let's see. John also mentioned there's nothing wrong with retreating too. Yeah, so if you are someone that doesn't want to deal with the problem, you can also retreat, which is not bad. You can always take a day off, come back and address it. Just don't avoid your problems. That's the only thing. So John said, but nothing wrong with retreating too. If I start getting overwhelmed or I'm like burp, then I just climb into my bed and watch some outdoor camp videos or truck van life camping and may take a little nap. Yeah, taking naps are great too, and also watching videos that you're interested in will definitely make you feel much better. Han said journaling helps a lot. It helps gets my thoughts down. It allows me to think about the layers of details from how I see it, how others see it, and what can be done. Dancing, anime, and games. Excellent. Yeah. I actually journal too, so yeah, being able to put your thoughts on paper can definitely help you with, especially if you're someone who feels easily overwhelmed by your thoughts, or if you're having a brain fog, journaling is really good. It organizes your thoughts too. And let's see, you said dancing, anime, and games. Yes, we're the same. We are exactly the same. Dancing is good. Like Miran also mentioned Zumba, so your dopamine is definitely increasing every time you dance. Anime is great too. We can definitely feel more reflective with watching animes and TV shows in general. So yeah, I think that's great. And also games. So just like Miran's answer as well, playing games with friends or by yourself just to help you decompress is great. Nina said, I attend my plans or drawing pictures without using my brain. Oh yeah, I love that. When you attend I noticed some people who are stressed, they actually adopt plants. They find that it's very peaceful. And of course, if you're around like nature, for some reason, it's very soothing. I can see that Nina is definitely one of those people that finds comfort with being with nature. Drawing pictures without using your brain is really great. I like to call it autopilot. So if I get to do things with my brain turned off, I like that. So it happens when you're watching videos too. Like you don't have to be active in your head, you're just watching. And I just call it's like I forgot there's a word we use for it. John, was there actually a word for it? I forgot if there was actually a word for it, but it's basically you don't have to engage in anything. Your brain is off and you're just watching a show. Like brain dead, right? Like I'm just being brain dead right now. Not like the literal sense. Brain dead means like you're dead, right? But zombie. Yes. I think that's what we called it, or at least that's what I called it. Resident sleeper. Yes. Like having brain dead activities. I think that's what the word I was looking for. Yeah. So brain dead activities. So doing things where you don't have to use your brain. It's nice because if your brain is so hyperactive and you have racing thoughts, you want them to be quiet. So you do something that doesn't require your brain. It's either called autopilot or it's called brain dead activities. Yeah. Also, Nina said to muster my energy to solve the problem or at least slap right at the person who created the problem. That's a good one. I hate that too. Like low-key though, yeah, sometimes it's like I want to slap the person who gave me the problem to begin with. I totally get that. I'm also gonna give you the handshake. That's so relative. It's so relatable. That's the word I was looking for. You guys gave really good examples here. Let's see. Brain off, brain dead. Thank you, Hans. I see your answer there too. Oh, I remember it now. Okay, it's called head empty. That's the word I was looking for. I remember it now. I remember I was talking to some friends online, and they say head empty games or head empty activities. So, I'm typing it in the chat. So I remember back then I would talk to friends online, and they would say, "Oh yeah, I'm doing some head empty stuff," and I'm like, "Head empty? What does that mean?" It's supposed to mean what it's supposed to mean. Like, your head is empty. No thoughts, nothing. Head empty activities. Not brain dead, sorry. But yeah, I will say one or the other because I can't remember head empty, so I will say brain dead. Even though that's not really the right word to say because it's related to medical backgrounds, etc. But head empty activities, that was a slang word that we used. But yeah, moving on here, I wrote writing in a journal, which is what Hans addressed. Watching movies, TV shows, or YouTube, which is what John said. Hanging out with friends is definitely... sometimes it can work with people, sometimes it doesn't, because we already talked about how some people will feel withdrawal. Sorry, not withdrawal. Some people might feel withdrawn from hanging out with people and not feel like they're in the moment. That's what stress can do to you. But there are people who can manage stress being in the presence of friends or people that they feel safe with. Sometimes that can help people. Working on a passion project or hobby, so like dancing, which is what Miran and Hans and Nina and I all address, dancing or drawing or, you know, taking care of your plants. So if you have a passion project, that can definitely help with releasing dopamine, endorphins, right? Right, John? Am I saying the right words? Dopamine and endorphins to help with relieving stress. And then also another one, I'm surprised, sorry, I'm stuttering a lot because it's been a long day for me. My gosh. Pleasure, yes, for pleasure, passion project, hobby, etc. Booking an appointment with a therapist or psychologist or psychiatrist, basically as a professional with stress management. It's also, that's why, sorry, I'm trying to organize my thoughts right now. Seeing a professional for stress management is good. I know a lot of people might be surprised and think, oh, maybe I don't need to see a therapist or psychologist because stress is probably not that big. You'd be surprised. There are people who don't even recognize that they have stress problems. So, of course, it's important to see a therapist and psychologist. Seeing a specialist, after all, they know how to handle these mental health issues the best. So even though we had this discussion, I just wanted to put it out there. This whole discussion for today was more of everyone's first-hand experiences and sharing. I am not a therapist or psychologist. It's just a discussion that we're having. But of course, please see a therapist, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, if you feel like you need more help given higher stress levels, for example. Because I am all for pro mental health. Okay. All right, so we reached the end for today's session. I know we're over a little bit of 90 minutes. I'm technically trying to make up for the 3 weeks that I haven't been here streaming, or 2 weeks. I can't recall or keep count of how many weeks I've missed. But yeah, I'm happy that I've reached 90 minutes with you guys, and everyone here was amazing. You guys gave phenomenal answers. So we are on our last segment for this session. So again, question, comments, concerns, or suggestions. Miran, do you have any that you would like to share?
First of all, yeah, it's been my honor to join your stream.
Aw, thank you.
So, and I feel really sorry for my broken English or something.
No, you're doing great. Look at me too. Like, I'm stuttering and stammering too because I'm like, oh, my brain is so tired of like this whole day. So it's okay if your English is broken or whatever. Just the fact that you're here and your English is still in great shape, Miran, considering that I haven't seen you in 3 months. Your English is still great.
I think my English got very, very rusty, so I need to work on that for sure.
Well, you know where to go. I'm always here every Tuesday, unless I mention that I can't come for some reason. But hopefully, I'm pretty sure I'll be back next week because I don't have any other things going on. So yeah, you know where to come. I'm here on Discord and YouTube.
Yeah, anyway, so, I think, yeah, it is a great session for the like discussion, and I don't have any concerns about that, and maybe like suggestion. I think it is great to like have a like topic here, but you know, if we have a like, you know, more topics to talk about, so it'll be great. Just that's the suggestion I can think of. And yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Miran. Yeah, so if you want more topics, I think I have a section here under the lounge section on Discord. It says discussion forums. I'm actually going to show this screen for a second, so boom. We're going to see this entire screen for just 1 second. Trying to find it. Trying to find it. There's a section here that says discussion forums. And also QCCS, so we can you can post anything here regarding if you want to have any conversation. So you can actually make a new post and say ideas for future live stream discussions, or under the QCCS too. So suggestions for the server and other stuff here. Oh, here it is. Conversation discussion topics. You can write topics you guys are interested in. So this was one of them that I posted a long time ago regarding like pillow talk. So this is kind of like pillow talk that we're doing right now. But yeah, I would suggest if you want to put more conversation or discussion topics of things you want us to talk about, just type it here and I will see it, and then I will consider it for the next stream too. So yeah, definitely explore this area in my Discord, and then I will definitely check it out. So I'm really happy to talk about whatever you guys are interested in, by the way. So don't get me wrong. Yeah. So thank you for that, Miran. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Nina, Hans, John, any other suggestions? It's okay if you guys don't have any. It's fine with me too. I'm just gonna give you guys like a minute, and then we can definitely move on from here. I see Nina's typing. She said, I think it has been a fun session. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm really glad with you guys that you are enjoying today's session. Everything has worked really well today, so I'm really happy. Streamlabs, you did great. YouTube, you did great. Hans, you're here and you're helping me. Oh my god, like I'm just happy today's working out. Good work, Han. Thank you. Yes, this is like... Thank you. It's like the first time there's no problems with today's stream. I didn't want to say it at the beginning because I could have jinxed myself, but everything's working well. Knock on wood. I don't want anything bad to happen. So yeah, good stream. Thank you, Hans. All right. So other than that, I think that's the end of today's stream. So I will be live every Tuesday, 8 p.m. PST. It's now 9:38 p.m. And I will always be hosting my streams on Discord in the live stream, the Homebody Cafe live stream session. I will be posting in the announcement for next week's stream, and hopefully I will be back with a podcast stream because I'm trying to collect my I was gonna say guests and friends, guests and hosts. I'm trying to get my next guest to come join us in the future, and we'll have conversations on that for the live for the podcast. So stay tuned for that in the near future. I'll be announcing that on the Discord server more than my Instagram. So yeah. Other than that, I think that's it for today's session. Thank you guys for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed our conversation today. Everyone did fantastic. I enjoyed everyone's answers.
Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you, Miran. Thank you for joining me. It's been so long. I'm happy to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, Miran. Bye,
Bye.
Nina. And thank you for joining again, Nina. Bye, John. And then Hans, thank you so much for being a great editor, or also being technically quote-unquote my moderator too. So yeah, thank you. Shout out to Hans, Nina, Miran, and John, and also Esther. Shout out to Susie, who was able to come here for a short time, but hopefully she'll watch the video afterwards. Thank you guys for joining me in today's session. I will hopefully, and most likely will, see you guys next week, as long as I'm not having any mental health issues, like burnout or anything. But fingers crossed, I really want to be consistent, and I've missed this so much, so this has been great. I will see you guys next week then. If not tomorrow, because I need to come back and do my language practices, or like study with me sessions again. I don't know when it's gonna resume, but fingers crossed it will happen again soon. But yeah. I mean, I'm trying to find the ending stream, because I totally forgot how to do this. Alright, I'll see you guys next week then. Take care. Bye-bye.